Good evening, this is Crystal. I'm checking to see if you can hear me. Hi, Doug.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hi there, everybody.
Hello.
Hi, Jeff. This is Crystal. Are you good if I turn the meeting over to you to host once it starts?
Yes.
Okay, great. I will rename people as they enter, and we're recording, so whenever you're ready.
I just want to make certain we have everybody's name listed here. So we have Dan, can you let us know your last name so we can list it?
Yep. Enderle, E-N-D-E-R-L-E.
Yeah, he's going to ask you to mute, so that you're going to mute until your call.
We'll try to get that set.
D across. Yeah.
And who connected in by phone with the 508?
That is Cindy.
Okay, good. Yes. Okay, we'll list that. Are you able? I don't think I can change their names. Can I update the names? Or can you?
I'm gonna put the commissioner names on with P&Z in front of them, but I'll make you the co-host now, and then you may be able to do that.
Okay, then we'll start doing that. Good, thanks.
Sorry, Anthony was going to host tonight, but he wasn't able to start the meeting, so I hopped on.
Okay. And let me just see who's connected in as Lisa. If you could let us know.
Yeah, I'm a budding neighbor.
Ah, okay, there you are. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Can you just let us know your last name?
Brust, B-R-U-S-T.
Thank you. All right, that way we can just make certain we have people identified here. And who's connected on as Lion? If you can let us know who you are. All right. Just want to make sure that we have everybody. And Roberts, I know here. And who, let's see. And who's connected on as Diane? Not Diane Miller, but the other Diane. If you can let us know.
Hello, it's Diane Odorsky.
Hi, Diane. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
And is that Attorney Roberts who's on with us?
Yes.
Welcome, Rich. Just want to make certain I have everybody listed here, so I'm just going to take a look through the roll here. I think we have everybody. All right. All right. 9, 10. All right, good. Looks like everybody who said they were going to connect on is connected. Good. Well, and let's see, we are recording. Good. So I'm going to call to order at 7:32 Woodstock's Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for April 15th, 2021. And I'm going to go through a roll of commissioners, and I can see you, but if we can just state for the record your name, that you're here. Joe Adaletta.
Here.
Mark Blackmer.
Here.
Sid Blodgett.
Here.
Hey, and this time, Sid, you're listed as Sid.
Hey, look at that.
That's good.
I'm back.
Gail Dickinson.
Here.
Nancy Frazier.
You're muted, Nancy. You're muted.
Here. Sorry about that.
Jeff Gordon, I'm here. Jeff Marcotte.
Here.
David Morse.
Here.
Doug Porter.
Here.
Dwight Reinowitz.
Here.
And Timothy Young.
Here.
So we'll note that for the record, and we'll note that we have a quorum, so we meet the quorum rule. Excellent. And then, Jeff, did you want to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Absolutely.
I'll have the flag here.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Jeff. Our meeting rules and guidelines, they haven't changed. We're meeting virtual as allowed by executive order. Otherwise, our rules that we have to follow are still in place as far as how we conduct our meetings and everything else with regards to the different types of applications and work that we do. I ask that if people can keep themselves muted so we don't pick up background sound. If you do wish to speak, and if it's in order, then let me know. You can either raise your hand, or I think there's the thing you can click on to virtually raise your hand, and we can and I can recognize you. We are recording, so we have the audio and the visual, and at a later point in time, this will be posted so that way you can access it via the town's website. And in case anybody wishes to see a live transcript, if you can click the red live button up there, it should give you a live transcript in case you wish to do that. Anybody have any questions about the meeting rules and guidelines? Okay. We come to seating of alternates. Let me see where we stand. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we need one. And I've been still going in alphabetical order. So that actually would take us to Nancy Frazier to be seated. So we will seat you. So we'll note that for the record. That takes me to Chair's report, which is going to be very brief. My usual thank yous to commissioners for the meetings that we're doing ongoing twice a month, really. Just to remind folks, we have our next regularly scheduled meeting, the first Thursday of May, is going to be our planning meeting again, and info will go out. Otherwise, if you're not able to attend, just let me or Tina know. Other than that, any comments by citizens not on any items listed on the agenda? Okay. That then takes us to agenda item 6, which is, well, let me just get my sheet here, which is we have a vacancy when Fred Rich resigned to fill for the remainder of his term, which, if I believe is correct, is through till November 21st, 2023. David, do you want to make a motion?
Yeah, I make a motion that we move Nancy Frazier to the full commissioner spot.
And is there a second?
I'll second it, Dickinson.
So motion by David Moore, seconded by Dale Dickinson to move Nancy Frazier from the alternate spot to the full spot to fill the remainder of the term, as so noted. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll go through the roll. Joe Adaletta,
Aye, sounds good.
Mark Blackmer,
Aye.
Sid Blodgett,
Aye.
Gail Dickinson.
Aye.
Nancy, you're seated. You can technically vote if you wish.
Well, then I would say aye.
Okay. You can always say no if you wished.
I think that would be in bad taste, so I'm going with aye.
Okay, good choice. Jeff Gordon, aye. Jeff Marcotte,
Aye.
David Morse,
Aye.
Timothy Young.
Aye.
I take that passes. Yep. Congratulations, Nancy. I have to note then for the record that at this point, Nancy is no longer listed as a seated alternate for the rest of this meeting. Actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We actually don't need to seat another alternate right now because we have 9 people already listed. So for our next meeting, I'll continue on in alphabetical order. That takes us to, we actually have 3 meeting minutes, March 4th, March 18th, and April 1st to dispose of as the commission may so desire. Is there a motion to
I
approve?
move they be
or-
accepted. Tim Young.
And Tim, was that to accept all 3?
Second.
Yeah, that is correct.
Okay, and who seconded?
Jeff Marcotte.
All right, so motion by Tim Young, seconded by Jeff Marcotte to approve the 3 meeting minutes. Any discussion or on the meeting minutes, or anybody have any commissioners have any edits?
Just a little edit. It says on the 18th, I was absent, but I was actually late. And while it says in the body of the chair's report that I joined the meeting, it probably should say present, joined late.
Yeah, we can so note that. Yes, Gail. So, we can just note that you were indeed present and it was noted when you joined. So that way we will note that for the record with regards to an edit. So that will be for the March 18th meeting minutes. Does anyone have any other edits relative to the meeting minutes? Okay, hearing none, I'll go through the roll. Joe Adaletta,
Aye.
Mark Blackmer,
Aye.
Sid Blodgett,
Aye.
Gail Dickinson,
Aye.
Nancy Frazier,
Aye.
Jeff Gordon, aye. Jeff Marcotte,
Aye.
David Morse,
Aye.
and Timothy Young.
Aye.
I take it that passes. So all those meeting minutes are so noted. And Cindy, thank you for the job you do getting the meeting minutes together. We appreciate it. Preliminary discussion. We have no preliminary discussion tonight. We have a non-residential zoning permit. This is agenda item 9A. This is Lynn Property LLC, 18 Route 171, a change of business from Roots Down to Thai Basil. Tina, as the CEO, I know you had, I believe you looked through this.
Jeff, I'm sorry, Dr. Gordon, before we start, this is the one that I needed to recuse myself on.
This is the one you wanted to recuse. Okay, so we'll note
Sorry.
that Nancy Frazier is recused for this item. So we can actually, for this agenda item, move an alternate up for this agenda item if an alternate wishes to do it. If I go in alphabetical order for it, and this won't affect the alphabetical order that I'm otherwise going to do for the next meeting, that would actually take us to you, Doug, if you wanted to be seated for this agenda item.
Okay.
So we'll just note for the record then that I'm seating Doug as an alternate for this agenda item. Nancy is recused. Let me just note that on my voting record. Tina, was there anything from your staff perspective? I'll ask the same question I always do, but I know the answer. It's a complete application and fees are paid?
Yes, that is correct. And I just would like to add that Maureen Marcoux from the Northeast District Department of Health contacted me and sent me an email indicating that there is nothing that they need to sign off on at this time for this permit to be issued, because it's not a change of use, it's the same kind of use.
Okay. And nothing else from your perspective relative to this?
No, nothing else from my perspective.
Okay. I don't know if the applicant or the applicant's representative is here. You're welcome to say something if you wish. You're not obligated to. We're
Can you
happy to
hear
give
me?
the opportunity. Yes, can you identify yourself, please? Because it's not listed on our screen.
Doug Williams, attorney for the applicant.
Yes, Attorney Williams, is there something you wish to say?
Just to reiterate what the CEO just stated, this is not a change of use. It's not a change of the nature of the business. It's simply a change of name. It was a restaurant before. The various restaurant equipment was maintained in the intention, and what will happen will be it will be used as a restaurant, run as a restaurant in the future.
Thank you. Yes, Gail, did you have something?
Yes, will they maintain the liquor license that Roots Down had?
I'll ask Attorney Williams to answer that if you have an answer.
There will be a liquor license. I don't know if the existing liquor license will be transferred, but there will be a liquor license and liquor will be served.
Is there any other questions from the commission? Joe? Just got to unmute yourself.
Yeah, just a quick question or reminder about lighting the sign. I see on the application, the sign will be the same size and location as the existing. Just as a reminder that no internally lit signs are allowed. So exterior lighting is permissible. And that includes like open signs or things in the door. So although there are some conditions for that, which hopefully you'll check with Tina if you want to put any lighted signs around.
And following up on that, Joe, I'll note for the record that this permit, if I'm correct, permit application, Tina, does include the sign bundled into it, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, all right. Is there anything else from commissioners? Otherwise, what is the wish of the commission? Gail?
I move we approve this application for change of business. I'm pleased to see another restaurant going in there.
I'll second that.
Okay, so motion by Gail Dickinson, seconded by Joe Adaletta to approve the permit, the non-residential zoning permit. Any discussion on the motion on the table? Hearing none, I'll go through the roll. Joe Adaletta?
Aye.
Mark Blackmer?
Aye.
Sid Blodgett?
Aye.
Gail Dickinson?
Aye.
Jeff Gordon? Aye. Jeff Marcotte?
Aye.
David Morse?
Aye.
Doug Porter?
Aye.
And Timothy Young?
Aye.
I take it that passes. Congratulations and welcome to the Woodstock business community. We wish you all the best. Does this mean now we can start holding commission meetings there?
If the commission so desires. Thank
You'll
you.
make those arrangements, right, Tina?
Yep, I'll be right there with you.
All right, excellent. That takes us to agenda item, actually I gotta move this. 9B, no, 10A. This is 64804-32115 Center Cemetery Road. This is for activity on a scenic road. We're not going to get into a discussion on this tonight.
Mr. Chairman,
Yep.
I assume you want to take me off and put Ms. Fraser back?
Yep, I'm gonna note that. I just wanted to state just one quick thing about what we're acting under. This is activity on a scenic road. So it does require, per the town ordinance, I believe it's section 4A, that we actually have to take this to a public hearing. And public hearing rules actually follow the how we follow special permit rules. The ordinance references that in state statute, and that's what we follow. So we actually would not be getting into any discussion tonight, other than we're going to have to vote to schedule a public hearing. We have to, as far as scheduling the public hearing, we have to start the public hearing within 65 days. With that said, I will note that Nancy is no longer recused, and thus, as Doug Porter mentioned, he's no longer seated as an alternate. So that's really where we are at this point. Other than, I will just ask, because we did receive this, I think this is Delia, in your role as the Senior Regional NECOG Planner, you reviewed this. And is this a complete application with fees paid?
It's almost complete. There is a concern, which I think we'll just have to wait for further information, but the applicants, Teresa Goulet and her daughter, I think, and her husband, Tim and Danielle Heersink, their driveway actually crosses onto the neighboring vacant property before it comes to the road. So their application, which is the part of their paving, which is outside of the right of way. So that's the part that's not covered by the scenic road ordinance, is not on their property, but the application indicates that they are proposing to pave it. So we need to have proof that the owner of the other property agrees to have that portion of the driveway paved. It will be a common driveway when that lot is developed, as well as the lot on the other side of 115 Center Cemetery. It's a common driveway that will serve 3 houses.
Okay.
So we're just waiting for them to contact the owner to see that they agreed to have the part of the driveway that's on their land paved.
Okay, well, I'll note that. We just wanted to note it for the record. I won't be able to recognize you, I'm sorry, because we are going to have to take this to a public hearing. So anything further would have to be discussed at a public hearing. But we just needed to note for the record what we've received and what we might be waiting to get when we schedule the public hearing. So we're aware as a commission where we stand heading into a public hearing. With that said,
can I ask a quick question, Jeff, about what other information we might be getting on this?
Delia, did you want to reiterate briefly what you had said as far as what else we're waiting to get, so we can note that in the record?
I'm pretty sure that all that we're waiting for is any input from the highway foreman. If he chooses to submit anything, he often does. I have notified him, and I may have an email. My mind is going blank on that right at the moment. Also, we're waiting for the applicants to contact the owner of the property adjacent to theirs, because the driveway crosses their property and they're proposing to pave their driveway. The thing is, that part that's being paved is outside of the right of way. So that's the part that's not regulated by the scenic ordinance, but the application indicates to the commission that it's to pave the driveway, and the commission doesn't want to give the implication that they are authorizing paving someone else's property. So we just want to make sure that the neighbor's okay with that.
Thank you, Delia. Did that answer your?
All I wanted to ask was, would there be any indication on information about drainage direction of water runoff from a paved driveway? It looked pretty long. So that's all I wanted to ask.
Okay.
I could look into that, but I believe it would be the same as what's there now.
Okay.
I don't think they're going to change the terrain or topography.
And then the other thing I just have to note is the ordinance requires that we notify the Board of Selectmen, and that all owners of lot frontage abutting the scenic road need to be notified per ordinance.
I believe all the abutters on the road have been notified by the applicant. I have to notify the Board of Selectmen, but I can't do that until I have the date of the hearing, because I have to put that in the notice.
And then we'll need to make certain then that we verify that all land abutters on the scenic road have indeed been at least sent a notice. Whether they act upon it is a different story. So we'll note that. At this point, then, we have to schedule a public hearing. Our next regular business meeting is May 20th, and we usually schedule public hearings to start at 7:45 if we so choose to do that. Is there a
Make
motion?
a motion to schedule a public hearing for our next business meeting on May 20th at 7:45.
I second that. Dave Morse.
Okay, so motion by Joe Adaletta, seconded by David Morse to schedule the public hearing on this matter at 7:45 p.m. on May 20th. And Delia, I know you're aware of what our deadlines are to be able to get information into the meeting packet.
Yes.
So is there any discussion on the motion on the table? Hearing none, I'll go through the roll. Joe Adaletta.
Aye.
Mark Blackmer.
Aye.
Sid Blodgett.
Aye.
Gail Dickinson.
Aye.
Nancy Frazier.
Aye.
Jeff Gordon. Aye. Jeff Marcotte.
Aye.
David Morse.
Aye.
And Timothy Young.
Aye.
That so passes and the public hearing is scheduled. So we'll reconvene this matter on May 20th. The next item we have is agenda item 10B. This is listed as 647-03-31, 650 English Neighborhood Road. This is map 5707, block 14, lot 5. This is a proposed 3-lot subdivision. Because it's a 3-lot subdivision proposal, it gets listed as a minor subdivision. Minor subdivisions, we are not required to hold a public hearing unless we want. I know, Delia, you reviewed this, and so I'll open it up to you from staff to present, other than I know for a fact that this is an incomplete application, unfortunately. But if you wanted to let the commission know actually where we stand with this, because that's going to have bearing on what we do here tonight.
So in your packet, you should have the memo I wrote when I reviewed the application dated March 31st. I list what items had not come in. Some of those have come in since then, but they were too late to get into your packet, so you have not seen them. We are still waiting on the health department approval. And the plans have been revised. The health department is requiring that they do some changes to the septic design. So those plans will have to be revised. And then we're having Suzanne Choate from Design Professionals review them. So her review will be coming in as well.
So if I could just have it clear on the record, Delia, the revised plans we have that are listed revised March 31st that we received in the meeting packet, looks to be going to be an additional revision that we're going to be getting.
Can we just confirm that with Pete Parent? I don't know if those plans had all the required changes for the health department.
I'll just ask you real quickly, Mr. Parent, because I know there's certain things that are we're waiting to get, which has bearing on us. Yeah, my question is there going to be additional stuff sent for revisions?
There will be a revised set of plans in response to design professionals' comments. The health department, the issues we're working out with the health department is that the site itself doesn't have 4 feet of natural material above ledge in a couple of locations. So we need to actually do physical work on the site to increase that natural soil to 4 feet, which is ongoing now. The design of the septic system doesn't need to be modified. It's physical work on the site that needs to be done in order to obtain approval from NEDH.
Okay, so basically there's going to be some additional plans we're going to see. So the plans we have, there's going to be something additional or revised relative to, so anything we start getting into the plans tonight, really we're going to have to be looking at whatever new revision we're going to be getting. Is that correct, Mr. Parent?
Yes, we did receive comments from Suzanne at Design Professionals that we'll need to make some minor changes to.
Okay. So I just wanted to make certain that commissioners knew that, just because any type of discussion we choose, we might want to get in tonight. We're going to have to table this item anyway until the May 20th meeting, because we're going to have to see some new revisions, and we're still waiting for NDDH to issue whatever their final approval and take it from there. Was there anything else, Delia, from your viewpoint from a staff perspective?
With the additional fill that will be required, I'm not sure if it needs to go back to the Wetlands Commission. That's a call for them, but I just wanted to raise that concern.
Tina, I know you work with the Inland Wetlands Agency. What do you have to say about that?
Is the minutes from Monday's meeting have not been produced yet, but they did not change their opinion. They did review your minutes from the last meeting. They did take another look at it and they did not change their opinion. They did not feel that they needed to look at it again.
Okay, so at this point, then we'll just have to get a copy of whatever.
Yes, I'll get that to you when they're produced.
So really, then, just from a process point of view, I don't know, Mr. Parent, what you would wish to do. I know you had sent in a letter requesting an extension of time. Although we actually don't have to do that, act upon that letter right now, because we still have statutory authority and governor's executive order time, I believe, to extend it without yet needing the applicant and you to request it. So if there's going to be further documents we're going to be getting in revisions, did you want to wait until the May 20th meeting to start really getting into all of that, or knowing that we're going to have to revisit a number of issues again at the May 20th meeting?
Certainly, if it's acceptable to the commission, I'd like to kind of give you guys a broad overview so I could get any initial feedback, concerns that you have on the project, so that while I'm revising the plans per DPI's comments, that I could incorporate any concerns that you folks might have as well.
Sure, if you wish to do that, and I'll just note for the record that we'll have to, certainly anything we say would have to be somewhat qualified if we haven't seen additional documents and revisions. If you wanted to give us, your presentation, if that's acceptable to the commission, the way to proceed, then we can go accordingly.
Okay. Is Delia or Tina able to bring the plans up, or am I able to share my screen so that
What I'll do here is, who can share? Actually, you should be able to share the way it's set.
Okay.
Jeff?
Doug?
Yeah, I just have a question to Mr. Perrant. How long is it going to take the applicant to bring up the soils so that the health department will be able to grant an approval for the project?
The applicant's contractor is working on that currently. We have authorization from NDDH to begin that work. I believe they were supposed to start the tree clearing last week. I haven't been out to the site yet to verify that that's happened. And then they expected it was going to be a week or two to get the fill in place and get NDDH back out there to do the additional soil testing that's required.
So do you expect that it'll be finished by next meeting, Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Parent, did you want to answer?
We're hopeful to have that information in hand for the May 10th deadline to be on your May 20th meeting. But obviously, NDDH has a lot of other things on their plates right now. So sometimes their schedules are a little bit harder to come by.
Okay, and just one thing to remind you, Mr. Parent, we do have a deadline of things to submit for that May 20th meeting.
Yes, the
Work
10th.
with Delia on that as far as the deadline date for submitting additional items. But if you wanted to go ahead, please go ahead and present.
Certainly. So the parcel is on English Neighborhood Road, right at the intersection of Lebanon Hill Road and just east of Brickyard Road. As you can see from the existing conditions, the site has a number of wetlands and is also has some shallow ledge conditions, which based on our discussion we just had here, there's shallow ledge throughout the site. We did a number of test pits. We found a few test pits that we were able to use without additional fill, but the majority of the site required additional fill in order to be suitable for septic system. So what we're proposing is 3 lots. The eastern lot being the smallest, kind of tucked in along the boundary here and away from this wetland. The middle lot, about 5.5 acres, and then the westernmost lot will be large, based on this divide here from this wetland system, and then the exposed ledge on the western corner here. So the house will be located in this location. Also, another issue that we're currently working on addressing is that the southern abutter here has some historic rights across this property to pass and repass. And they are also in the process of working with the Wyndham Land Trust to donate their property. So we'll be providing them with an access easement along this western side here to allow pedestrian access to the land once it's transferred.
And can I just ask one quick question, Mr. Parent, about that item? Is that something we got documentation about?
No, that will be included in the revised plans. It's something that recently came up. The deeds are extraordinarily vague when it came to that, so our surveyors didn't catch up on it. And then when we sent out the notices, the abutting property owner contacted us and shared some history on the property with us, where the former owner had been allowing him to use this thing. The former owner has since deceased, and that's why the property has been transferred to the heirs here. So some of that history wasn't known directly. So we're working through that with them. I think it's going to be very simple. We're going to provide them with a 50-foot wide easement over here on this side, well away from the development. And everybody seems to be agreeable with that. We just needed to get it on the plan and in front of you folks. I can just quickly go through the site plans. They're just standard 4-bedroom houses with garages. We're proposing gravel drives currently, underground utilities, and then this is a westernmost lot. This septic system requires about 2 feet of fill over the existing soils in order to maintain that 4 feet of separation we need from ledge to the bottom of the system. And then, wells in the back. The middle lot is the lot where we were able to find natural soils down here in this low area that were suitable for septic. So this lot doesn't need any additional fill. So this lot won't have any work done on it prior to approvals. But again, standard 4-bedroom house with a garage, well in the back. And then the easternmost lot, this lot needed about 1 foot of fill in the septic area to be acceptable for health department. And in this lot, we're actually reusing an existing logging road for the driveway, just kind of making some improvements. Other than that, I think it's relatively straightforward. Happy to answer any questions that you folks have. Would love to have any feedback, any questions, concerns that I could incorporate into the plans we'll get to you for May.
I'll open up to commissioners. I'll reserve my questions for after. But we'll just, anything from, I'm just going to scroll through now that this is up on the screen. Anything from Commissioners? Joe?
Yes, I just wanted to ask Mr. Parent if it might be possible to create another drawing, much like sheet number 2, which shows the 3 lots, but to put just roughly show where the house and driveway for each one of the lots will be. I didn't see a combined drawing that had that. Obviously, you have the separate drawings for each lot, but
that's certainly something we can do. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
I'm just scrolling through here for look to see any other commissioners have any other questions. I'm just, if you can just read.
Dave Morse.
David?
If there's a 50-foot easement, could that be a road to the Wyndham Land Trust land? Or if that's not Wyndham Land Trust, would that be big enough to have a road put in? I don't know how many acres are back there.
It's over 100 acres that's back there. I think it's 130-ish acres on the southern property line there. I think that based on the topography, it would be very difficult to get a road in there. And I think that there's not a desire to have vehicular access back there. They're more looking for pedestrian access.
Is that piece otherwise landlocked?
No, it also has access further to the east off of English Neighborhood Road, and it also has a right-of-way off onto Brickyard Road.
Okay, that's my concern.
Anything else from commissioners?
I have a
Yes,
quick
Nancy.
question. And I don't know if it's appropriate to ask this if we are waiting on some of the information. I see in the memo that Delia put together, she did a fantastic job. First of all, thank you. But second of all, there is the mention, and I reviewed the trust. Are we sure right now that this trust actually legally still owns the land? Because under a clause in your trust, the trust terminates upon the grantor's or the settler's death. So, and the trustee was supposed to disseminate of the property in the trust to the beneficiaries. So I see that the application is brought in care of the trust by the trustees, but my question is, I guess, is this trust actually still legally in existence?
Mr. Parent?
So my understanding of the situation is that Mr. Kennison's wife, who's listed as the in care of, is Cynthia Gilbert Kennison, who's listed in the trust documents. They are going to provide us with a letter from their attorney, just verifying their legal ownership of the property for everybody's benefit. But that's our understanding of it currently.
Okay, so it sounds like Mr. Parent will get some additional documentation to make certain things are legal.
Oh, I agree with Attorney Fraser. My reading of the trust document said that upon the death of the grantor, the trust terminated and the property just went to the beneficiaries. So I'm not sure there really is a trust anymore.
So it sounds like that's an item that will need to be looked into further. That's something you're looking into further, Mr. Parent?
Yes, so the heirs have an attorney whose opinion is that they are legally owners of the property. And they've had that opinion reviewed by a second attorney. So they're supposed to get us a letter to that effect so that we can submit it to you folks.
I guess I just want to clarify. I'm not disputing that they should be the owners of the property. I'm just saying that I think they're the owners outright. I don't think that the trust exists anymore. I think they own it outright. But again, I just want to, clarify. I think, if that is the case, then maybe they just need to amend the application or maybe, clarify that on the land records. But I just, in accordance with the actual trust document, it terminates upon the grantor's death and it goes outright to the beneficiaries. So, again, I just, if they could clarify that, that would be fantastic.
Okay.
Jeff?
Yes, Joe?
Can I ask that maybe we ask Rich Roberts to look over this to have some feedback for our next meeting, just to allow him to weigh in on the legal position of all of this when he sees all the appropriate documents from the applicant.
Yes, we'll make a note to forward it to Attorney Roberts for him to take a look at and give us his legal opinion on, to be thorough from our perspective.
Great.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, and just to kind of full disclosure, Delia had asked me about this in the, a while ago. I did a little bit of looking on the land records and, just concluded that some cleanup needed to be done. I just haven't seen what the cleanup is yet. Whether it's taking it out of the trust and devising it directly to the individuals or something else. I mean, there just hadn't been anything updated in 40 years on, either the land records or the assessor's records. And that obviously is creating a problem when all the named people on the land records are gone.
Okay. Well, thank you for starting to look into that, and then we'll just get further input from you on that. Anything else from commissioners? I'm just scrolling through. I just have one question just to get some clarification to understand some things. I know you're asking for 3 driveways, Mr. Parent, that's correct?
Yes.
what is the total lot frontage of the parcel right now on the road?
I don't know the total distance right off the top of my head. It's over 1,000 feet.
Okay, if we can just get a number, only reason is I just want to have it documented that it's more than 600 feet, because that way then that allows the 3 curb cuts. I'm not disputing that it is. I can probably just sit there and try to do the math, but I just wanted, if that could just be clarified, so that way we just have it on the record that indeed it more than exceeds the minimum lot frontage to meet that number of curb cuts. That just is kind of closes that item on for relative to one of the things in the regulations that we have to be looking at.
Absolutely.
Thank you. So what my sense was, it's clearly more than 600. So is there anything else from commissioners? Let me just scroll through here. Okay. Was there anything else from your point of view, Mr. Parent? Otherwise, I know we'll take this back up in May.
No, I appreciate the input. Thank you guys for your time.
All right, thank you. Was there anything else, Delia, from your perspective before we deal with tabling this item?
No.
Okay. All right. Any last thing from commissioners? I'm just scrolling. Okay. So really our action at this point is we have to table this item to our May 20th meeting. If that's the wish of the commission.
Move we table this item to the May 20th meeting.
Is there a
Second, Blackmore.
Okay, so motion by Gail Dickinson, seconded by Mark Blackmer to table this agenda item to our May 20th meeting. Any discussion on the motion on the table? Hearing none, I'll go through the roll. Joe Adaletta.
Aye.
Mark Blackmer.
Aye.
Sid Blodgett.
Aye.
Gail Dickinson.
Aye.
Nancy Frazier.
Aye.
Jeff Gordon. Aye. Jeff Marcotte.
Aye.
David Morse.
Aye.
And Timothy Young.
Aye.
I take it that passes, so we will take this back up on May 20th. Okay, thank you. Old business, we actually don't have any old business. I put an agenda item on agenda item 12 listed as updated governor's executive orders and resultant legislation, just because I think it will be a good idea just for us to know, refresh ourselves how much longer these executive orders are currently listed to go through, but also there was, and this I believe was in the meeting packet, about an act concerning the provision of outdoor food and beverage service by restaurants, which was legislation that was passed and signed into law, which certainly has a bearing on things we do, and of course the things that Tina does as the CEO. I don't know, Rich, if you wanted to just remind us where we stand relative to when all these various executive orders that are in effect, that affect us, when are they actually active through? So that way we're aware.
Yeah, I mean, it's more interesting than it needs to be. Even though the legislature has authorized the governor to extend his emergency declaration through May 20th, he has not yet done that. So as a matter, as we sit here today, all of the executive orders expire next Monday. We've been told that there is every intention of extending some of them, particularly the ones pertaining to remote, virtual, hybrid meetings, as well as the executive orders that relate to land use meetings that give you the right to post things on the website instead of in the newspaper, to have the additional 90 days and so forth. We've been told that those will be extended through May 20th, but that has not yet happened and may not happen until the afternoon of the day that they're set to expire. Part of the delay is that there is the intention not to extend a lot of the other 90 or 100 executive orders that are out there. So they're basically going to only extend the ones that really serve a purpose at this point. And CCM and Cost and some other folks have been lobbying, the governor's office to continue the executive orders related to meetings at least through, May 20th, if not through June 30th, just to allow towns to get through the budget adoption season, to be able to plan ahead and so forth. And, we were told weeks ago that was going to be happening, but when you're told on April 19th that the executive order either will or will not be extended past April 19th, it's kind of hard to plan, which is why, I'm somewhat optimistic that, having been told 2 or 3 times that all of the, the ones that are pertinent to your business are going to be extended at least through May 20th, lets me think that that's going to happen. The special act that Jeff was alluding to, and that.
Can I just ask one quick follow-up question, Rich?
Sure, absolutely.
Those executive orders that he hasn't yet said that he wants to continue, would that include this extra days of time that we get to extend decisions and extend public hearing and that type of stuff? Do you think that's going to be included?
At least as of yesterday morning, that was going to be, included among the ones that are going to be extended. The ones that, for example, allowed the Board of Selectmen and Board of Finance to kind of do an end run around a town meeting to accomplish certain things, those are not going to be extended. Some of the other ones that have been kind of rendered obsolete by, the passage of time and circumstances aren't going to be extended. But I think the ones that directly impact your operations will be extended at least through May 20th. After that, your guess is as good as mine as to what's going to happen. Part of the reason why these things were extended to February and then is that the hope was that, the legislature would act, and that has yet to occur. Maybe by May 20th, the legislature will have acted on at least some of these. The special act on outdoor dining essentially codifies the executive orders from last year and carries that through the end of March 2022. So, you can have your outdoor St. Patrick's Day dinner next year in the parking lot or the road, under a law rather than the executive orders. So.
But this requires then to go to the zoning enforcement officer for a permit.
Yes, that part doesn't change.
Yep. So if some business or whatever wishes to do any type of the outdoor stuff, they have to get a permit in order to be legal to do it. And my understanding is that once they get that permit, if this law is due to sunset in a year, and if the law is not continued, then that use just ends. It doesn't become non-conforming. It just stops.
Correct.
And the other is that the commission has nothing to say relative to the issuing of those types of permits. It's purely in the domain of the zoning enforcement officer, unless there's an appeal, and evidently then the commission could potentially be that appellate body, if I read this correctly.
Correct. Yep, correct.
But that is a change. So certainly that would be falling under Tina to do as CEO. So I wanted to make certain the commission knew about this new law and where we are relative to it, because normally that would come to us, but right now the law has changed it. But again, a permit has to be issued in order to make it legal.
Right.
Did anyone have any questions about that relative to the executive order status and this legislation that came out? Okay. Well, I guess then, Rich, we're just going to wait to see what else happens during the legislative session and what else of these executive orders get extended.
Yeah, it'll be like Christmas morning all over again.
This takes us to, which I know is the highlight of our meeting and why we all attend the monthly meeting. This is for the zoning enforcement officer reports. And do you have anything relative to the office? Tina, I know you and Cindy have been keeping very busy there at Town Hall, and certainly by extension, we've been keeping Delia busy in her office.
Yes, that is correct. A lot of development going on in Woodstock. Some complaints that I'm looking at. I apologize that the report was not in your packets, but I did email it out to everyone. If anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Does anyone have any, and commissioners have any questions? Joe?
Just a quick question. Is there a separate file you're keeping, Tina, for enforcement actions or NOVs? The one report we have looks like a lot of building permits activity.
Yeah, I have a few complaints on my desk that I'm working on, so I can get something out to you.
Okay. Thank you.
You're
So when
welcome.
we have our, our reports, then we'll just have for the next month one, in addition to the permits, anything relative to any type of enforcement actions then. But certainly a full 2 pages in this report of all sorts of different permits.
Another question, Jeff, that might be a different section, but maybe appropriate now, about the notice for the telecommunications cell tower on the property. I was going to ask Tina if she had a little better idea of where it's going to be located, or if anybody else knows where it is. I know it says on North
I do.
Road.
Well, I can speak to that. This came under correspondence because we are required to be notified by the siting council. This is actually on the property that's owned by the Ag Society, the fair.
Right, that's what it said. Is that where the house was demolished, or is it further back on Northgate Road? I said, it says 44 feet from Northgate Road, but I wasn't sure if that was at the intersection of Roseland Park Road and Northgate Road, or kind of opposite the Baptist Church on Northgate Road.
Yeah, I don't believe it's the property at the corner. I believe it's more a little bit up the road and back in order to cover some additional area.
Tina?
We do have maps at the town hall of exactly where that location is. I'm looking for the document in my packet and I don't see it, but I can provide you with a map that shows you.
Well, that'd
where.
be great. Thank you.
Okay.
Anything else relative to the ZEO reports? Well, that takes us to our budget, which we have. As we know, we still have funds in the POCD account. And then we also have the continued tally of where we stand relative to the commission's budget and also the land use legal line item, which is basically shared with us and with the ZEO's office. So we have that stuff in there. And once again, we are being most mindful of the public money, where we stand relative to our budget. I don't know if anybody has any questions on that. I do note that we did pay our annual membership fee for the Connecticut Federation of P&Z agencies, which is good. So we're going to continue to get those newsletter reports every quarter. So, which is good. Okay. Correspondence other than the item, Joe, that you mentioned about the cell tower. I believe this also was in the meeting packet. Information relative to a Connecticut Supreme Court opinion regarding a ruling on the Freedom of Information Act. Did that make the meeting packet? Did you guys get that?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to pass it along just because it is interesting whenever they issue some of their opinions. I read, this is actually kind of a short opinion compared to the number of pages the Supreme Court seems to want to write, but it is interesting whenever they issue some rulings as far as, where we are with stuff. So
it looks like it says we can talk to each other.
Exactly. As long as we don't have a quorum.
As long as it's not a public hearing is my guess.
Right. So if we run into each other at the transfer station, we don't have to walk past each other and look the other way. You know, we can chat and say hi, and so and be friendly. So, and I'm sure if we're interested, I'm sure later tonight, Attorney Roberts is willing to spend multiple hours going through this in detail. So I'm sure, Rich, you're prepared for that, right?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So, I don't have any other correspondence that came through that I'm aware of. Is that correct, Tina? I don't think there was anything else that we had. That was kind of it. I'm sure we'll have more stuff in our meeting packet for the next business meeting. That takes us to the last agenda item. This is agenda item 16. I have it listed as adjournment. We don't have to adjourn if nobody wants to.
Move, we adjourn.
Second it.
Who
Tim
seconded
Young.
it? Who was that? I missed that. Was that
That
you?
was me.
Okay. So motion by Gail Dickinson, seconded by Tim Young to adjourn our meeting. Can't have a discussion on it. So all in favor? I'll just take it that instead of going one by one, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And anybody wish to say no or abstain? I'm going to take that passes by a slim majority, but it passes. And we are so adjourned at 8:28 p.m. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
Thank you. Good night.
We'll catch you
Thanks, Jeff.
on May 6th.
I was just worried that with Fred gone, you'd never be able to adjourn.
Well, I have it under authority, just to let you know, Rich, that Fred spent some time training Tim Young. And I believe Tim has been certified by Dexter to be appropriate to make motions to adjourn. Is that correct, Tim?
Yes, that's
No,
right.
I disagree. I think it's a Prospect Street job.
I'm gonna have to fight you on that one.
I beat you to it this time,
You
Tim.
did.
That's all right.
And if you wish,
Fool
Gail,
out once.
if he makes the motion, I can just recognize you automatically as making the motion, which I was doing with Fred anyway.
As long as
so.
I'm part of the motion, that's all that counts.
Yeah.
So you want the honor from now on, Gail?
I'll do it or Tim will do it. See who can beat each other to it.
All right.
So, hey, we're going to have an exciting end of the meeting at our next meeting, so everybody should attend.
Here we go.
That's right. Well, thank you, everybody.
Take care.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us, Diane.
Just a quick note, Jeff.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
May 6th, I have tickets to the Red Sox.
Well, they're actually on a roll, so they're doing quite well.
Yeah.
Yeah, after they bombed with the Orioles of all teams for the first 3 games.
You could
It
zoom
was
in.
sad. I went to opening day. That was very sad. But
Yeah, and the Orioles usually are what? Usually kind of fighting for the honor of being last place in
Yeah.
the division. But hey, now the Red Sox are like just charged. Let's see how long they can sustain themselves.
well, good night.
Have a good
Wait till
night,
next
everybody. Have a good one, Rich.
Take care.
Stop recording.